Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Bad news for Gennady Golovkin as Canelo Alvarez selects Daniel Jacobs in a unification next. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing if you want to become part of the gang. Notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, I was just thinking about this. I broke the story and talked about Canelo Alvarez. He actually broke it on his Instagram. He announced his next opponent is Daniel Jacobs. Very random. There was really no hoopla about this particular fight in the last few weeks. They silently negotiated, got it to terms, and agreed on the fight. And I always say this in boxing. When you hear about the fight, those aren't good signs. Like when you hear about the negotiation, like Joshua Wilder in 2018, that's in the summer, when it's all public and this camp is saying this and this camp is saying this and everything's in the media, that's not a good sign, because fights like Canelo Jacobs, even when Floyd Mayweather announced he was fighting Canelo way back then, I remember I just randomly went on Twitter and I follow Floyd on Twitter, and he just said, my next opponent, I'm fighting Canelo, and he just announced it via Twitter randomly, so that's a good sign, and I'm happy. I prefer this fight to Canelo Golovkin 3 straight away in May. I think it's just a good break, good break, so we don't have to see the same two guys duke it out over and over and over again, especially since the first two fights, let some people say it, with Canelo and Golovkin, it doesn't really have an ending, because some people are still claiming Golovkin got robbed even in the second fight, so I'd rather see them fight fresh faces. Now, the reason I say bad news is because Golovkin's in a tight spot. He's in between a rock and a hard spot. Here's why. There's a lot of pressure now on Golovkin. Canelo already made his move, and he made his next move his best move. He's fighting a very meaningful middleweight unification fight. He took the Rocky Fielding fight. Most people knew what the outcome was going to be for that particular fight, and now he's back to square business, and he's taking a certified test in a guy, Jacobs, likable guy, but beyond that, he could fight. And in my opinion, he beat Gennady Golovkin. So Canelo has a huge opportunity here, because if he can beat Daniel Jacobs or stop him or do it convincingly, whereas Golovkin, even if you thought he won, I can't say it was his most convincing performance. And I was in New York, in the building at Madison Square Garden. I was at the Garden for that particular fight. So if Canelo, he has a great opportunity, while all people are watching, this is clearly his biggest fight on DAZN since he signed with DAZN, because he's only had one other fight with Rocky Fielding. I think they can do a good build up for this particular fight. This is a guy from Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico, and a guy from New York. And he's familiar. He's a name that Americans are familiar with. So to me, this will probably be DAZN's biggest fight, because it resonates with American fight fans, because everybody knows Canelo in America, that watches boxing, and people know Jacobs as well. Puts Golovkin in a bad place. The other thing, if Golovkin moves and goes to 168 pounds, to me, that will be a bad look, because Golovkin has baited and begged and waited for good competition. Well, good competition is now here at 160. You have Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade still available. You have Jermall Charlo, who got ordered to fight Golovkin, and winner's supposed to get Canelo per the WBC orders, just like they ordered Wilder versus Fury 2 recently, yesterday. So I can't wait to see what Gennady Golovkin chooses. Rob Brandt already has a fight coming up, so I don't think he'll be available in the time frame that Golovkin wants to fight. I know Team Golovkin wanted to fight Ryota Murata at a point, but he's coming off of a loss. He's no longer a champion with any version of the WBA or anything, so that wouldn't even really make sense, to go to Tokyo or Japan or something to fight against Ryota Murata with no belt. So the pickings are slim. Same thing with Derevyanchenko. Jacobs just handled him. He already beat him. So I don't think that's going to be a desired fight. Derevyanchenko was like ranked highly with the IBF, and he was Golovkin's mandatory, and Golovkin chose to instead fight Vanes Matarosin, coming off a 2-year layoff, a loss to Edislandi Lara, and moved him up from 54 to 160. And he had a new promoter with Don King, left Al Heyman as his advisor, and the PBC family. And he had 2-3 weeks to prepare for a Golovkin fight, and he got knocked out in 2 rounds. So, people, even though Golovkin doesn't have a belt, he's still a silver medalist. He's still a top player in the middleweight division. I can't wait to see what the next move, but I think the walls are closing in. For Golovkin's going to have to take somebody, in my view, better than the, Dominique Wades or just the Willie Monroe, the Adamas, the fights that no one's really asking for, especially when you have a champion like Canelo who is going after a mutual opponent in Jacobs and going to, cement his legacy with a victory if he's able to beat him. Same thing with Jacobs. If Jacobs beats Canelo, I mean, the sky's the limit. Only other person to do that officially is Floyd Mayweather. So, Canelo Jacobs puts a lot of pressure on Golovkin. Beyond that, you have other situations behind the scenes. I don't know details, but, there were reports from even ESPN and others saying that Triple G was trying to get out of his contract, have his wife or girlfriend manage his career or something, and Tom Loeffler was no longer a part of that. But Tom Loeffler clapped back and made it sound like legally Triple G can't leave him. So I don't know the details. I don't know what's what, but he also has that waning over his head in this decision-making process. So I know DAZN, Showtime, ESPN all showed interest. I can't wait to see what Golovkin decides to do because, like I said, he's still, even with the loss to Canelo is considered probably the best middleweight in the division. So losing to him, this is not the end of the world. But people are going to want to see Golovkin fight like a top tier guy. Billy Joe Saunders doesn't even have a belt anymore, so I don't know. We'll see who Golovkin picks. I'm not going to sit here and poke and pick and speculate, but I think Canelo officially skipping over Golovkin and announcing the Jacobs fight, it's a bad look. The other thing is Golovkin, I mean, according to him and reports I was seeing, he said that he didn't want to fight Canelo. He was done with it. So, well, it looks like he got his wish. I don't know if he was playing hardball like the first time, like he said he wanted in the rematch when they were negotiating. He said he wouldn't go lower than 50-50, and then Golden Boy was like, hell no, you're not getting 50-50. And then, they offered him 40-something, and, I don't know if it was a hardball tactic or if maybe he really doesn't want to fight Canelo. Well, either way, he doesn't really have a choice. He can't. I mean, he hasn't fought in 8 months, and he's not getting any younger, so I can't imagine that he would want to wait until after May to fight somebody, because Canelo's not fighting again until September. So, I don't think Golovkin wants to take a whole year off waiting and hoping Canelo wins a tough fight with Jacobs, and hopefully they happen, to fight each other in September. So I think Golovkin there's gonna be a lot of pressure, in my view, to see who Golovkin decides to fight next, because who are you going to fight? I'm trying to think of the landscape. Derevyanchenko's coming off of a loss. Ryota Murata's coming off of a loss. Charlo's a tough fight despite the Matt Korobov fight. Triple G and Korobov, that wouldn't be bad. Korobov gained some new fans there. I was at that fight. But, Billy Joe Saunders is suspended. Who's Triple G going to fight? So if he leaves 160, I think that's kind of a telltale sign that he wasn't looking for the top tier smoke, because there are some guys that still make sense there. Like I said, Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, Matty Korobov, but we'll see who he decides. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.